Part 2. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Ludo Meyer. Chapter 11. Chapter 11 Punishment. Mukinjian stretched herself comfortably, looked at the on the table beside the bed, and looked at her with an aggrieved look. Haha, I'm used to it. I'll leave a mark on you next time. Mukinjian removed the protective spell. Dandan jumped on the bed unhappily and jumped a few times in dissatisfaction. It feels like she is losing weight every day. Is it easy for her every day? It's still a baby, it's only 5 months old. Mukinjian didn't know what Dandan was thinking. If she knew, she would definitely be filled with disgust. With its chubby and round figure, there is no trace of thinness at all. Mu Xiao opened his eyes and saw a white-haired figure jumping on the bed, with a small face and an excited face. Haha, I caught you. Sister, I caught a strange idiot. Haha, Xiao is great. This is Dandan. Let him play with you from now on. Mukinjian smiled. Mu Xiao picked up the struggling Dandan and said, okay, okay. Xiao likes Dandan, and Xiao wants to be good friends with Dandan. Dandan's face changed instantly. This little kid called him Mao Dan. Can he bite him? After taking a look at Mukinjian, it seemed that it wasn't possible. Dandan whined. Forget it, human child, I agree to be your friend. Not long after, Mu Xiao and Dandan had no communication barriers and could play happily. Mukinjian dressed Mu Xiao, washed up, and then took Dandan out to have breakfast. Why don't you cook it yourself? Mukinjian had never cooked in her previous life for 29 years. Except for the fact that her mother had no accident before she was 19, she asked Mukinjian to learn piano, chess, calligraphy, and painting. After she turned 19, she never did that again. Because it would put her in trouble, it was such a wonderful time. Mukinjian ordered a bunch of delicious food, and Mu Xiao and Dandan happily ate breakfast. She needs to come to Imperial University in advance because Imperial University requires freshmen to participate in military training at the end of August next month. The freshmen need to report to school on time today and tomorrow, so Mukinjian came to the Imperial capital in advance. There are luxury sports cars along the way, which are very cool. Sure enough, apart from the top students at Imperial University, more than 90% of them are from rich families, and some are from famous families. All luxury cars, beauties, and handsome guys are the basic standard in Imperial University. There is no shortage of beautiful women, handsome men, rich and powerful people in Imperial University. Don't think that rich people are ugly. The richer the people, the better they look. Even if they don't look stunning, they still have their temperament. Rich people are not rude and brutal, they have their pride and abilities. How bad will it be for people who have been trained since childhood and who have been trained with money and time? Although it is not ruled out that many people will be like this, real nobles are disdainful. This is the real aristocratic family, these are the children of the rich family. But people like Mukinjian walking over still make people look at them involuntarily. Mukinjian picked up her Imperial University freshman certificate and handed it to the teacher in the security room. The teacher stroked his glasses and said, "You are Mukinjian, the #1 scholar in City Y. Once you have registered, you can go in. Just follow the crowd. We are all freshmen today." The glasses teacher looked at Mukinjian. The rumors about this kid and hot searches were untrue. This cold, aloof, and arrogant person is not like those people reported by reporters who are cowardly and dare not resist. Mukinjian took back her things and said, "Okay, thank you, teacher." The glasses teacher looked at Mukinjian with a look of relief. It was really this kid. Fortunately, he got through it. It's really good. Mukinjian took Mu Xiao with her and met a group of girls looking at Mukinjian with smiles. "Oh my God, who is this? He brought his children here to attend the freshman orientation ceremony. Haha, maybe the mother takes her son to school together. Haha, Maybe he is an illegitimate child. Eh, how disgusting. How could there be such a new student? When did the number of new students admitted to Imperial University drop so low? Vicious words attacked Mu Qingjian. Mu Xiao held her hand in fear and couldn't help but lower his eyes. Dandan was in Mu Xiao's arms, baring her teeth in anger, and wanted to bite them, but Mu Qingjian stopped her. There is a saying that goes well, a woman with a poisonous tongue will be punished by having her tongue pulled out. The sky is wide and the net is sparse. Today you will always remember in your heart, what is meant by disaster coming from the mouth. Mu Qingjian had a strong aura and a sense of oppression. Full. The girls who said Mu Qingjian felt like they had fallen into an abyss instantly and were trembling all over. He glanced at Mu Qingjian in fear and immediately ran away in panic. Master, just let them go like this. There is a murder case on them. Death is considered a light thing, so how can he let them go? Do you want me to eat their souls? It's too much to bully others. Dandan jumped to Mu Qing, looking over Yan's shoulder. He looked at the four of them with open teeth and claws. Mu Qingjian sneered and said, no need. You can escape death penalty, but you can't escape living crime. They will get the punishment they deserve tonight. Don't eat raw souls at will in the world, or you will be caught by the messengers of hell. Dandan shook his ears boredly. Okay, I've never eaten a raw soul. After the four girls returned home, strange things happened one after another. I woke up from nightmares throughout the summer vacation, and my family found countless magic experts but could not solve it. They were all asking what bad things they had done and were punished by the master. The ulterior girls had no idea that it was Mu Qingjian who did it. They just thought she was here to take revenge on them. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 12. Chapter 12 Freshman Speech. Mu Qingjian pulled Mu Xiao to sit in the back row. Mu Xiao hugged his nervously, as if this would make him feel safe. Looking at the frightened Mu Xiao, she couldn't help but stroke his furry head. Xiao, don't care about what others say. Your current situation is to grow up happily. Don't worry about anything else. No one will laugh at you if you are still a child and hide in your sister's arms to act like a spoiled brat. Anyone who maliciously laughs at you is a bad person, you know. Mu Xiao raised her wet eyes and said, Sister, when Xiao grows up, Xiao will protect my sister. When the time comes, Xiao will help my sister fight the bad guys. Okay, Xiao is the best. Mu Qingjian hugged Mu Xiao and kissed him, making the little guy shy. The male classmate next to him looked surprised at the interaction between Mu Qingjian and Mu Xiao. It turns out it's her, the top scorer in Y City and the top scorer in the Chinese National College entrance examination. Mu Qingjian smiled slightly at Xiaolingji, and Xiaolingji smiled back. The principal looked into the microphone and said excitedly, now the freshman representative, Mu Qingjian, the top scorer in the Huaguo College entrance examination, will give a speech for us. The students applauded warmly. Under everyone's applause, Mu Qingjian touched Mu Xiao's head and told him to be obedient and wait for her return. Xiaolingji saw Mu Xiao looking at Mu Qingjian's leaving figure with fear, and couldn't help but comfort her. It's okay, your sister is a great person, so she wants to go up and tell us a story. Mu Xiao's face was filled with happiness after listening to Xiaolingji's words. Brother, is it true? My sister is great. You also know that my sister is great. Xiaolingji couldn't help but touch his head. Haha, yes, your sister is on TV. You should listen carefully to what your sister has to say, and be such a great person like your sister in the future. I know how to do it, brother. Xiao also wants to be a great person. Mu Xiao looked serious. Xiaolingji couldn't help but feel that the two siblings, Mu Qingjian and Mu Xiao, were particularly interesting, and she was looking forward to Mu Qingjian. Mu Qingjian walked onto the podium slowly and meticulously, her whole body radiating with a shocking aura. The godlike existence made everyone present instantly quiet. Mu Kinjian thanked the principal and congratulated the principal for giving up her seat. Mu Kinjian stood in the middle, and the lighting engineer couldn't help but adjust the light to her. All the freshmen looked at Mu Kinjian on the stage and were deeply attracted by her special temperament. Hello everyone, I am Mu Kinjian. I believe many people know me. No matter how you knew me before, you will always remember the new me now. I believe that some people always judge a person by his appearance, and some people always know someone from other people's mouths. But you have to know that she can stand here, which means that she has her pride and her way of becoming a talent. No people can deny whether you can do it or not. The only person who can deny you is yourself. Don't become who you are in other people's words, and don't deny yourself easily. As long as you are the best version of yourself, you will not have failed your life. You have to believe that you are the only one in the world, and no one can compare with you. What are you standing here for? To let everyone remember you. So those who look down on me, don't worry. I don't even bother to look at you. I, Mu Kinjian, speak for myself. Those who look down on me, please continue to look down on me. Because in the days to come, I, Mu Kinjian, will be a that you can never reach. Thank you. After saying this, he returned to the hotel calmly and freely. Own position. All the freshmen looked at Mu Kinjian with shocked expressions. This was simply the most awesome speech they had ever heard. The teacher from Imperial University looked at Mu Kinjian. Her courage was really unmatched. Mu Kinjian soon became famous among all the teachers and classmates at Imperial University, and everyone will know the name Mu Kinjian. All the freshmen unconsciously applauded Mu Kinjian. Well done, Mu Kinjian. The principal raised his hand with a look of relief, and the freshmen fell silent. Special thanks to classmate Mu Kinjian for her wonderful speech. I hope the students will work hard and be their special selves. Live up to yourself and your youth. The freshman entrance ceremony has officially ended. Students welcome back to Imperial University next month. Imperial University welcomes everyone, and I also hope that the meeting will not be wasted during the summer vacation. Xiaolingji, who was sitting next to Mu Kinjian, looked at Mu Kinjian with surprised eyes. Hello, classmate, I'm Xiaolingji, nice to meet you. Your speech was very interesting. I hope to become a classmate next month. Mu Kinjian nodded, thank you, we will become classmates, see you in the military training. Mu Xiao happily waved her hand to Xiaolingji, goodbye, brother. Xiaolingji smiled and touched his head, goodbye. Hold up his little hand and leave Didier. Mu Xiao looked at Mu Kinjian with admiration and smiled happily. Mu Kinjian hugged him gently and said, what is Xiao giggling about? Tell your sister. Mu Xiao smiled happily, in the future, I will be like my sister today, so handsome, my sister is great. Haha, is that so? Then you have to study hard so that you can give a speech on stage like my sister did today. Mu Kinjian looked at him with a doting tone. Mu Xiao nodded fiercely, his face full of enthusiasm. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 13. Chapter 13. The Era of the Magic Stick. In recent days, Mu Kinjian found a nanny who could take care of Mu Xiao. Get up early and look at the bustling crowd. With a look of helplessness, her profession is really unfriendly in this modern era. He is actually a magic stick. This makes Mu Kinjian a little embarrassed. She is the head of the Mu family and the leader of a country. When he came to this era, he was known as a liar and a charlatan. This asked her how to pass on the inheritance of Mu's metaphysics. The belief in this world now is science. In the eyes of ordinary people, people like her are liars and feudal superstitions. Those who might have wanted to arrest Mukinjian in the past, haven't these inheritances been passed down? Mukinjian was very curious. This was the most amazing ability. Mukinjian didn't know that she was an ordinary person and the earth's spiritual power was insufficient. Materials are insufficient, and the process of cultivation has become very difficult. Strange skills have long been beyond the reach of ordinary people. Mukinjian was wearing a mask and sitting in a corner of the park with a helpless expression. The old man next to him is hanging a sign. On the cards are written fortune-telling, marriage, wealth, luck, zodiac and other various metaphysics. Mukinjian looked at the white-haired old man, who was so pretentious that he looked like a Taoist priest. The person Mukinjian was talking about was none other than Old Man Zhang, who just came to the park to do some calculations when he had nothing to do. He is not short of money, it is just his professional hobby. Old Man Zhang looked at Mukinjian beside him and took out a blank paper from his backpack. He saw the words written on it were dragons and phoenixes. Just looking at the words is really good, but there is a hexagram 9999 written on the paper. Counter offers are declined, and anything can be counted. This little girl is more high profile than the old man. He dare not write like this for fear of being beaten. Old Man Zhang beside Mukinjian was a little bit upset. Seeing that Mukinjian wrote in such a simple and exaggerated way, he couldn't help but kindly remind him. That little girl, if you write like this, no one will dare to count. Mukinjian looked puzzled. What's wrong? Is it too complicated? The old man chuckled. This little girl was crazy about money. That fool was willing to spend 9,999 to make a fortune. It turned out that he was one of the fools. The ant passing by looked at Mukinjian. How could this little girl come out to deceive people at such a young age? Little girl, you can't study hard, but you want to imitate Old Man Zhang and be a deceiver. This is not good, little girl, go home quickly. Old Man Zhang looked calm, and he was obviously used to what the ant said. There is no way, Old Man Zhang will appear here from time to time. Everyone knows that Old Man Zhang is a fortune teller. Some are accurate, some are not. Those who were not allowed went to the police station. Not long after, this old man came to trick people again. Mukinjian raised her head and did not speak. She continued to play with her mobile phone with her head down. When the ant saw Mukinjian motionless, she left angrily. A middle-aged man walked up to Mukinjian with a depressed look on his face. Take out 10,000 yuan and put it on the paper. Mukinjian saw the business coming and gave him $1. Yugua 9,999 will cost you $1, no more. The middle-aged man stood up with $1 and was about to leave. Mukinjian said slowly, I lost my mother when I was young, and I lost my spouse when I was young. My fate is too hard. Now I am middle-aged and have lost my career and am close to bankruptcy. Are you thinking about dying? This situation can be ended. The middle-aged man looked surprised and turned around. How do you know that I want to die? You can check it before, but how do you know what I am thinking now? Mukinjian smiled and said, you should not die. You blindly seek death. After death, there is no chance of reincarnation as a human being. You will go to the 14th level of wasted death, experience the scene before committing suicide, and experience the last scene of your life in countless reincarnations. The middle-aged man was so frightened that he swallowed his saliva. Little girl, don't talk nonsense, you will go to hell. This is a scientific era, so stop looking at messy things. The middle-aged man was frightened by Mukinjian. He seemed to have really felt a chill just now. It was as if he was really in hell, experiencing the punishment of hell. If you want to know why this is happening, why not go home now? You will find something different. I believe you will know why you are like this by then. Mukinjian sat down and continued to play with her mobile phone without talking. Shortly after the middle-aged man left, the police car arrived. The result is that the middle-aged man's current wife steals the man at home, and the man's bankruptcy is all the fault of his wife and her lover. The lover was still a middle-aged male assistant, and he also recovered his money. The middle-aged man was very grateful to Mukinjian for the reminder and planned to thank the master properly next time. A wealthy woman looked down at Mukinjian, and asked with a sense of luck, "Can you count the missing people? No matter how much money you have, you can do it?" Mukinjian looked at the wealthy woman and said, "It can be calculated. Your hexagram can be calculated by transferring 99999. The wealthy woman nodded and motioned for Mukinjian to take out the payment code. Old man Zhang on the side was astonished. This girl was really more cruel to people than he was. 99,999. Why don't you rob a bank? And isn't this Bai Yulian, the granddaughter of the Bai family? Are you so anxious that you just believe it? Her brother has been missing for a whole day and no one can find him." Bai Yulian transferred the money without hesitation. Mukinjian looked at the large balance on her bank card and nodded with satisfaction. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 14. Chapter 14. Female Ghost Zhou Hui. Bai Yulian's generosity surprised old man Zhang. There really was a fool who wanted to spend the money to find a little girl. Bai Yulian greeted old man Zhang, "Hello, Mr. Zhang, I'm setting up a stall again today." Lao Zhang nodded, "Xiaolian. Old man, I don't have the ability to help you. Don't worry too much, that boy Bai Yu will be fine." Bai Yulian smiled bitterly, "I'm fine, Mr. Zhang, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yulian doesn't blame you for not being able to help. Do you have any personal clothing for the missing person? Anything is fine," Mukinjian asked calmly from the side. Bai Yulian immediately handed Mukinjian a high-end watch. "This is my brother's watch. Is this okay?" "No problem, just wait a moment." Mukinjian picked up her watch and danced her fingers rapidly for a few seconds. One hand quickly drew on the paper, and after a while, a simple address came out. "Take this map and search according to the map, and you will find the person you are looking for. But my suggestion is to bring a few more people with you." Mukinjian handed her the map in her hand. In a place where Bai Yulian and the others could not see, they put an amulet in Bai Yulian's clothes. Bai Yulian looked shocked and said, "Okay, thank you." After saying that, she took the map and left. Old man Zhang looked at her in surprise. "Little girl, she is the wife of the Yu family and the daughter of the Bai family. You should be careful when you deceive others like this." Mukinjian smiled and said, "Liar? Do you think I am you? Old man, you can't just calculate all kinds of magic. Although you are proficient in drawing talismans, you shouldn't be able to do anything else." "What the hell, I've been drawing talismans to drive away ghosts for decades, and nothing has ever happened to me. I have talismans, so even if something happens, I'm not afraid of you, old man." Old man Zhang looked majestic. "You and I are destined. Are you willing to make a fortune? Ask for an amulet to keep you safe." Mukinjian took out the amulet and handed it to old man Zhang. Mukinjian knew that the person in front of her was related to her, so she helped whenever she could. Old man Zhang chuckled, "You're not even willing to let me kill you. Okay, here it is for you, and give me the talisman. If it doesn't work, I'll settle the score with you next time, old man." Mukinjian picked up the 9,999 and handed him another dollar. "I don't want the extra money, don't worry. You will come to me on your own initiative. This is my phone number. If you have any questions, you can contact me. The price is favorable." Looking at Mukinjian leaving, old man Zhang felt a little bit like he had been cheated, and he was still willing to do so. Hand in hand, I looked at the amulet. It looked like a talisman. The little girl's handwriting is really in line with her personality, and she also knows how to use cinnabar to draw talismans, which is very careful. Bai Yulian took the map drawn by Mukinjian and led her bodyguards to the end of the map. Looking at the deserted place, there are only abandoned factories nearby. Thinking of it all, a group of people were looking for an hour in a deserted abandoned factory. Finally found the dying Baiyu, covered in blood and tied to an iron pipe. Baiyu raised his head weakly. Sister, run quickly, quickly, walk. Haven't had any water for 2 days, and I've been tortured by that thing for so long. Baiyu has no resistance at all, and it is very difficult to even say a few words. Bai Yulian rushed forward to hug Baiyu with a distressed look on her face, and hurriedly untied the iron chains on his body. Ayu, what's wrong with you? Who caught you and dared to hurt you? Bai Yulian looked at Baiyu, who was covered in injuries, with an angry look. Baiyu leaned against Bai Yulian weakly, knowing that there was no time for her to come back. A strange strong wind knocked down the security guards, and a cold breath made everyone present shiver. A red shadow is getting closer and closer, only a few meters away. Everyone present had a look of fear in their eyes, staring intently in front of them. I saw a man floating, and the white stuff could be seen on his head. A red dress was floating in the air, with only a pair of blood-red eyes visible. Looking at them with wide eyes covered in blood, the woman smiled, and her strange face twisted. Ghost. One of the guarantee tickets was the closest and was thrown out by the female ghost with one hand, struggling painfully. It's you, Zhou Hui. Your death has nothing to do with my brother. What do you want to do? Bai Yulian stood in front of Baiyu. Although the person in front of you can no longer tell her appearance, Bai Yulian died after Zhou Hui's death. I have seen photos of her accident, although I was very scared. But she has never done anything bad, and she cannot let Zhou Hui continue to hurt Baiyu. The female ghost Zhou Hui laughed, and the whole abandoned factory could hear it. It was extremely harsh and unpleasant. What do I want to do? You steal my man, and you ask me what I want to do. I want your family to be destroyed. Haha, are you afraid? Xian and I truly love each other, and you can't hurt my family just because we can't love each other. Your death was caused by you jumping off a building to force Xian to marry you. He didn't agree to it, and it was all caused by you yourself. MRSU continued. Ah, shut up, Xian loves me. If it weren't for your appearance, he would definitely love me. I will kill everyone you cherish. Haha, you go to hell. After finishing speaking, the female ghost Zhou Hui showed her sharp fingers and floated over. Mukinjian sighed helplessly. Isn't this Bai Yulian stimulating the female ghost to go crazy? If you have no choice, you can't just ignore it. In the blink of an eye, 14 chapters have been updated. A new writer is asking for favorites, attention, and recommendation votes online. Even if it includes leaving a message, it will be very satisfying if it gives the newcomer a little bit of motivation. Thank you for being so cute and giving me favorites and recommendation votes. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 15. Chapter 15, Collecting Ghosts. Under a ray of golden light, the female ghost Zhou Hui flew directly 10 meters away, spitting out a mouthful of blood. He already looked scary, but now his mouth was spitting blood, which was even more frightening. The female ghost Zhou Hui rushed over again unwillingly, and Mukinjian jumped down from the window. She didn't know why, but she particularly hated what the female ghost Zhou Hui had just said. That feeling reminded her of what the monster had said to her. One finger flicked on the female ghost Zhou Hui. Ah! The female ghost Zhou Hui was rolling on the ground in pain. Who are you and why can you hurt me? Mukinjian played with the mobile phone in her hand. I am Mukinjian, from the Mu family's mystical arts clan. You have harmed ordinary people and injured countless people. Do you know your guilt? Haha, I'm not guilty of any crime. Just wait for me. After saying that, he ran away. Before the female ghost could escape, the door opened. The female ghost looked at her with fear on her face. Who was she and why could she open the door to hell? Did I ask you to run away? Mu Kinjian's ruthless look was so cold that Bai Yulian couldn't help but sigh. This little girl must have changed too quickly. Ah! Huge iron chains stretched out from the depths of hell, and the roars of ghosts and wolves came from the depths of hell. The female ghost Zhou Hui was tied directly to the iron chain. No matter how she struggled, she was quickly pulled into the abyss of hell. A moment passed and the factory returned to calm. Bai Yulian looked at the scene in front of her with horrified eyes, and she was so frightened. Bai Yu leaned against Bai Yulian with a look of surprise. He didn't feel scared, he just looked at Mu Kinjian. Thanks. From the experiences of the past few days, Zhou Hui changed her methods to scare him, and Bai Yu has become accustomed to it. He has seen ghosts before, this scene is so shocking, he seems to be used to it. But he was also a little curious about her, what kind of person she was. She held her cell phone and said, "Ah, he's dead." "You're welcome, after all, I took your sister's money." Bai Yu looked at Mu Kinjian who was playing on her mobile phone, as if she was playing a game. How brave she is to be so calm in this situation. Bai Yulian slowly regained her composure, with a grateful look on her face. "Thank you, Master Mu. If it weren't for Master Mu's help, my sister and brother would have been killed by Zhou Hui. This is 5 million, with a password of 6 and 9. Master, please accept it." Mu Kinjian took the card and nodded. "Okay, I'll take the money, you have merit, and she can't hurt you for the time being, so it makes sense to do good deeds. Since you guys are fine, I'll leave. Those security guards are fine and will wake up soon." Bai Yulian supported Bai Yu, with a look of gratitude on her face, and Mu Kinjian quickly disappeared. Bai Yu sat on the ground. "Sister, who is she?" "This is the master I met while walking in the park in the morning. I just felt sorry for the little girl. I planned to give her some money and then asked casually. But she drew a map and said you are here, and my sixth sense is more accurate. I felt like she wasn't lying, so I hurried over. I didn't expect that she was really a master. We have to thank you very much." Bai Yu nodded, "Okay. Mrs. You didn't pay attention." Bai Yu had been quiet since he was a child. He was abducted and trafficked as a child and experienced many horrible things. As a result, he has a cold personality, but although his personality is a bit strange, he is still quite a good person. Several bodyguards woke up soon and looked around with fearful faces. Seeing that he didn't see anything scary, he quickly ran over to help Bai Yu up. "Madam, let's take Master Bai away quickly." Bai Yulian stood up and said, "Let's go back. Don't tell anyone about this. Let's go. After all, no one would believe this kind of thing. Only those who have experienced it will know, which is why some people believe it and some people don't. Because they are all said from other people's mouths, and others have not experienced it, no matter how careful you say it. In other people's minds, it is just a story, and they cannot understand the feeling of experiencing it at all." Mu Kinjian happily bought a bunch of snacks and toys. Today was a bumper harvest, so she bought a lot for Xiao and Dandan. As soon as the door opened, Mu Xiao and Dandan ran over together. "Sister, where have you been? Why didn't you take Xiao with you?" Master." Mu Kinjian put the things in her hands away. "Okay, I bought a lot of delicious food, including milk tea. Do you want to drink it?" "Sister, I want to drink." "Ouch, I want my too." He handed the milk tea to them and looked at Aunt Huang behind him. "Thank you for your hard work, Aunt Huang. Xiao and Dandan didn't cause any trouble." "Haha, no, they are good. Xiao Yan. Drink less milk tea. I heard that milk tea is full of pigments," Aunt Huang said kindly. Mu Kinjian nodded. "Aunt Huang, I'm at home today, and we'll go out for dinner tonight. If you have anything to do, you can go and get busy." Just cook the food tonight and put it in the thermos. I'll see if I can come back for dinner. Aunt Huang packed up Mu Xiao's toys. Okay, I'll leave them there. Before leaving, Aunt Huang neatly packed her things, said goodbye to Mu Qingjian, and hurried home. Took Mu Xiao to the amusement park, but he was very happy. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 16. Chapter 16 Zombies appear. A week later, just after Mu Qingjian put Mu Xiao to bed, a phone rang. Old man Zhang's voice rang on the phone. Hey, are you a stinky girl? I'm old man Zhang, please help me. It's haunted. If you don't come, old man, I won't be able to hold on anymore. Mu Qingjian teased old man Zhang. Oh? Really? I think you are quite energetic. There shouldn't be any big problem, right? Old man Zhang was so angry that his beard was about to explode. How long has it been, and you are still teasing me? Hurry up. The talisman you gave me can't hold it anymore. I know, give me the address, use all your talismans, you should be able to hold on until I get there. After hanging up the phone, he took Dandan with him. Come on Dandan, master, I will take you to have a midnight snack. Holding Dandan in his arms, he was flying in the darkness of the night. As soon as Dandan heard about the late night snack, he immediately became excited and transformed into Mu Qing. Master, hold on tight. A black image flashed past like lightning. Looking at Dandan with an excited face, he is really a foodie. Within 5 minutes, Mu Qingjian and Dandan arrived at a very large villa. You can hear the voices of old man Zhang and others from a distance. Damn, why isn't this girl here? The old man's waist hurts from standing. Mu Qingjian walked into the villa with Dandan in her arms. Who are you scolding, old man? If you had known, I would come later. Old man Zhang looked at her and said, haha, I didn't scold anyone. What should I do if that ghost girl is in the house? Old man Zhang looked surprised. How could he be so fast? Mu Qingjian calmed down and said, open the door quickly, it's coming out. What? You just go in empty-handed, you don't want to live. Old man Zhang saw that she was going to go in empty-handed and quickly stepped forward to stop her. She ignored old man Zhang, opened the door directly, and then sealed the door. Old man Zhang pushed the door hard outside, but it didn't move at all. He was really seeing a ghost. Mr. Yin on the side also looked at old man Zhang anxiously. Old Zhang, ask a baby to come over and catch this thing. Aren't you harming others? What should I do? Do you want to call the police? Don't harm this little girl. What do you know? That little girl gave me that talisman. If it weren't for this talisman, our whole villa would be in trouble. It's a pity that your girl Yin didn't come back. Otherwise, I would have been in trouble, and I would be like a demon king. Old man Zhang was lying at the door and said cautiously. A sneaky man suddenly appeared. Grandpa Zhang, who are you talking about? Holy shit, I was scared to death, old man. It turned out to be Yin Yetu. Old man Zhang smiled awkwardly. This really meant that Cao and Cao were here. Yin Lao scolded Yin Qingji sternly. You think you are as skinny as a monkey all day long, do you deserve the name I gave you? Yin Qingji pouted, you can't blame me. If you could talk in the womb, I wouldn't want this name. Yin Lao was so angry that he slapped Yin Qingji on the head. Did I ask you to talk back? Grandpa Zhang, what are you doing sneaking around at the gate? Yin Qingji looked curious. Grandpa Zhang brought people here to deal with strange things. Don't disturb them and go back to the house. Mr. Yin looked serious. Old man Zhang and old man Yin looked into the room nervously, and old man Zhang even looked at the gap nervously. Yankinja looked at the appearance of Grandpa Zhang and Grandpa and knew that there must be something strange. I had no choice but to agree and go back to my house honestly. Out of sight of them, he turned around and ran outside the villa. Hee, if you don't let me see it, I will take a look. There must be something weird. Yankinja climbed up to the windowsill with great effort, pressed her whole body against the glass, and quietly watched the incredible scene in her eyes with a strange posture. I saw a white puppy next to Mukinjian, suddenly transformed into a huge monster, and it no longer looked like a dog. Huge body, revealing white and sharp teeth. There was also that huge tail, blood-red eyes, and thick black smoke all over its body. Yankinja's eyes widened as she saw a scene in front of her that could not be explained scientifically. Looking at her dark hair with a hint of purple, there are natural undulating arcs on both sides of the hair hanging on her shoulders. Clear and bright pupils, curved eyebrows, long eyelashes trembling slightly, and flawless white skin that everyone envies. Those thin lips are as delicate as rose petals. Yankinja swallowed subconsciously. The young lady is so pretty, she likes it. From the coffin on the ground, an extremely ugly zombie emerged from the coffin. Roar! He stretched out his hands and rushed toward her. Yankinja was so frightened that she shouted in panic, "Be careful!" Mukinjian glanced at the window, and Yankinja's elegant and refined posture came into view. Her flexible body avoided the attacks of zombies, and she frowned slightly as one zombie and one person fought in the room. Zombies are indeed the most troublesome, and they cannot be killed if they are thick-skinned. Kicked the zombie away, bit his finger and recited mystical skills quickly. A blood talisman came alive in the air and rushed towards the zombies. The zombies who sensed danger immediately ran back. But Mukinjian couldn't let it run away easily. Once this thing sucked in blood, it would be even more difficult to deal with in the future. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 17. Chapter 17 Not Delicious. Yankinja watched the zombies jumping in her direction and was so frightened that she couldn't even move. Tundun, stop it, don't let it hurt anyone. Good master. Dandan immediately rushed forward and threw the zombie to the ground. Eki, get out of the way, the blood talisman covered the zombie's body. Dandan jumped up quickly and jumped behind Mukinjian. Roar! I saw the zombies covered in black smoke, roaring loudly, struggling in pain, but there was nothing they could do. Old Man Zhang and Mr. Yin outside the door also looked frightened when they heard the terrifying sound. Old Man Zhang banged the door. Hey, Mu Yetu, are you okay? Say something. Hello. I'm fine, don't worry. Old Man Zhang felt relieved instantly when he heard Mukinjian's voice. This scream is too scary, Mu Yetu is really good at it. It's really powerful to be able to catch such a terrifying zombie. The eggs in the room absorbed the black energy upon seeing this, and the zombie immediately turned into an ordinary corpse. Dandan burped, his face full of disgust. Master is not good at eating. It tastes terrible. Mukinjian smiled and said, if it tastes bad, you don't have to spit it out. It's good for your cultivation. It won't taste bad if you eat a candy. Dandan turned back into an ordinary little puppy, biting into Mukinjian and throwing the candy over. Eat it happily, it doesn't seem to taste bad. Mukinjian lifted the seal, and Old Man Zhang and the others could finally enter the house. Looking at the mess in the house, one can imagine how fierce the fighting was. Mr. Yin and Mr. Zhang entered the house and looked up to see Yankinja lying on the glass in a strange posture outside the window. Lao Yin's face turned red. This little girl didn't look like a girl. Why are you still lying on the window? How about you lie down until dawn tonight? Yankinja saw her grandfather getting angry and immediately rolled and fell down. Ouch, it hurts me so much. Yin Lao smiled awkwardly and said, that's my granddaughter. She has a very wild personality. Well, master, Don't be offended. Mukinjian smiled and said, no problem, your granddaughter is very cute. Where did you dig up the zombies? You dare to put this thing in your home? You are really brave. Old man Zhang patted Mr. Yin and said, this old guy is an archaeological expert. This is not newly dug by the Archaeological Research Center. Bring it here and let old man Yin see that this coffin is from that era. Because it cannot be opened and cannot be destroyed, so ask Mr. Yin to do some research. Mr. Yin thought the coffin was weird, so he asked me to come over and take a look. Who knew that the body turned out to be a zombie after opening it? But it scared us half to death. Thanks to me throwing all the talismans into the coffin, it was temporarily unable to move. As a result, the only talisman you gave me was left on me. I was clever and stuck it on the coffin. My dear, he's not moving. I'll come over and have a look. Old man Zhang gestured with great excitement. Mukinjian was also amused by old man Zhang's experience. Old man, you may have been so frightened that you dropped the talisman in your hand. I understand. Old man Zhang glared at Mukinjian unhappily, asking if he could give her face. He didn't want face. Yin Lao smiled and said, thank you so much, master. Thank you so much. This is the money to thank. Thank you very much. I don't know the master's surname, so I can visit you in the future to thank you. Mukinjian put away the check very naturally. Even when she received the money, she had such a natural and refined temperament. My name is Mukinjian. You don't need to thank me. After all, I have already accepted your money. There is no need to come to visit. I have no father and no mother, so I am just a young brother. Yin Lao looked surprised. Who did Master Mu study under? Do we know each other? It is a blessing for our country to have such ability at such a young age. Old man Zhang also looked curious, wondering where Mu Yetu learned it. He traveled in various fields and had never heard of Mukinjian's name. For someone as powerful as Mukinjian, their master should be someone they know. Mukinjian raised her head and smiled bitterly. My grandfather, but he has passed away. Yin Lao had a look of pity on his face. I'm really sorry for mentioning Master Mu's sadness. Nothing, anyway, my grandfather is living a good life there. Mukinjian smiled. Old man Zhang and old man Yin looked at each other and didn't ask any more questions. Yinkinja hurriedly ran in, can we be friends? My name is Yinkinja. How cool were you just now? Your dog is also super handsome. Can I learn from it? I also want to be a Taoist priest and a Taoist priest who catches ghosts. That's just too cool. Mukinjian was frightened by Yinkinja's excessive enthusiasm. I am Mukinjian, not a Taoist priest. I am a mystic master. Thank you for the compliment. You are not suitable for this profession. You have a strong yin energy. So I don't recommend you to go there anymore. Studying these will do you no good. Yinkinja looked unhappy. Okay, can we be friends? I'm just curious about what unknown things there are in this world. Mukinjian patted her shoulder. Most of the dangers come from people's curiosity. We are friends now. Yinkinja laughed happily. It's settled, let's go, I'll take you to my house for a walk. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 18. Chapter 18 Almost Possessed. Mukinjian was warmly received by Yinkinja, and it was not until very late that Yinkinja was willing to let Mukinjian leave under the majesty of Mr. Yin. Ian, come and play with me next time. How about I come and play with you? Yinkinja waved her hands desperately. Yin Lao apologized to Mukinjian and pulled Yinkinja into the house. Look at how I punish you today. You dare to study these ghost things. If I don't teach you a lesson, you will go to heaven. Ah, it hurts, Grandpa, be gentle, your ears are going to be broken. Yinkinja covered her ears and shouted. Mu Qingjian looked at the scene without recalling the past. Grandpa, why should I be a heavenly master? I don't want to be a spirit girl. I also want to go shopping and play with them. They practice every day. I don't even have time to play. 6-year-old Mu Qingjian looked at other people's children with envy. Child. Mu Lao touched Mu Qingjian's head and said, Yan'er, you are not an ordinary person by birth. Even if you don't hurt others, others will hurt you. You are destined to be a high-altitude god, the one who saves the people of Xian Kingdom from being harmed by monsters and monsters. God. You are still young, and it is normal to want to have fun, but if you are destined to be extraordinary, getting along with them will only bring them countless harm. Mu Lao looked at Mu Qingjian dotingly and said. Mu Qingjian, who was 9 years old at the time, didn't understand and secretly made friends with a boy behind the family's back. A year later the boy was harmed by a demon. Just like that, he died in Mu Qingjian's arms, looking at the demon spirit who was smiling happily. She was completely panicked when he said he wanted her to experience losing everyone she cared about. From then on, she slayed demons and refused anyone's overtures. At just 18 years old, the demons and monsters were frightened. This was also the beginning of Mu Qingjian losing the most important person. The death of her younger brother, the death of her mother and her father's complaints, until her father also died in her arms. She lost everyone she cared about. Just like what the demon said, she experienced losing everyone she cared about. Master, Master, wake up. Dandan watched as Mu Qingjian's spiritual power surged, and the nearby ghosts were instantly transformed and disappeared. The ghosts within 100 meters radius were so frightened that they ran away in panic, each one crying and howling. Mu Qingjian slowly woke up. No, she still had Xiao. She found Xiao, and she still has Xiao in this life. Dandan looked at Mu Qingjian nervously. Master, do you know that you are about to become possessed just now? Mu Qingjian looked at old man Zhang and the driver who were seriously injured and unconscious, with a look of guilt on her face. I'm fine, thanks to your balls. Dandan looked worried. What happened to the master just now? Why did it happen so suddenly? Mu Qingjian used spells to treat old man Zhang and the others. After all, they were injured by fluctuations in spiritual power and could not be cured by ordinary treatment. Old man Zhang stood up slowly and touched his forehead. Old man, why do I have such a headache? What just happened? Maybe you are too tired. This is a calming charm that can calm the mind and help you sleep. It will be fine if you carry it with you for a few days. Mu Qingjian took out 1 or 2 charms from her arms and handed them to old man Zhang and the driver. Old man Zhang immediately took it away excitedly. Hey, that Mu girl, do you have any others? They are also used as protection for the old man to ward off evil spirits. After all, in this business, you are not allowed to bring something powerful. Mu Qingjian held the talisman and shook it a few times. Yes, there are 100,000 amulets, 50,000 peace talismans, 50,000 good luck talismans, 100,000 exorcism talismans, and 200,000 exorcism talismans. After all, it takes a lot of effort. How many are needed? Old man Zhang looked at the pile of talismans in Mu Qingjian's hand and became jealous. These are good things. Give me 10 of each. Mu Yetu will be really useful. Mu Qingjian took out the QR code on her mobile phone and said, swipe it, it's 5 million together. Don't worry. This is with my blood talisman added. If you want to buy it in the future, it may not be at this price. After all, I will become stronger and stronger in the future, and the talismans I make will also become more and more powerful. The price will become more and more expensive if you add your own blood charm. After all, your own blood itself can ward off evil spirits and avoid ghosts. Old man Zhang immediately transferred money excitedly upon hearing this, holding a bunch of talismans happily. This is a good thing, so keep it well. Even the driver, Xiao Chen, bought a few peace charms for himself and his family. Old man Zhang praised him for his discernment. This old man didn't mind that the matter was serious, so he quickly called Mr. Yin. Yin Lao is doing archaeology, and he will encounter more unclean things like this than himself. Old Yin knew that old man Zhang was thinking about himself, and to thank Mu Qingjian, he generously bought 20 million talismans. Mu Qingjian looked surprised and almost finished taking out all the talismans in her hand. In the end, Mu Qingjian also gave old man Zhang a few talismans, but he was happy and told her to introduce more rich people to her. Mu Qingjian did not refuse. After all, she wanted the Mu Suansha family to be famous all over the world, and it would be fastest for them to promote it. In her line of work, a lot of money is needed. After all, she doesn't even have her natal magic weapon anymore, she needs some magic weapons. Nowadays, half of the precious cultural relics are magical artifacts, and they are protected by the state, and they are not cheap. So regardless of the fact that you can make money quickly, the cost is only the price of a magic weapon. So Mu Qingjian still has to work hard to make money, and she still has Xiao to support. Thinking of Xiao, she looked satisfied. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 19. Chapter 19. The little guy cried. Old man Zhang, where can I get my driver's license in a few days? Mu Qingjian asked with a puzzled look on her face. Old man Zhang carefully protected the talisman and looked up at Mu Qingjian. Are you 18 years old? You can take the driver's license test when you turn 18. I have a way to know you. As long as you know how to drive, you can master all the subjects. You can finish the test in one day and the driver's license will be ready for you the next day. Why? Come on, Mu Yetu, do you want to take the exam? Yes, don't I look like 18, it's mainly for the convenience of taking my younger brother to school next month. Old man Zhang saw that Mu Qingjian looked approachable when talking about her younger brother, even though Mu Qingjian acted very approachable. In fact, he kept a distance, which made old man Zhang interested. This girl is quite loving. You look like you are 15 or 16, 18, how can I be sorry for your age? Mu Yetu, you need to eat more, you are too thin and don't look good. Old man Zhang looked disgusted. Mu Qingjian knew what old man Zhang was thinking. Believe it or not, I want you to see some good guys, dare to make fun of me. Old man Zhang immediately became serious. Don't, old man, I can't stand the trouble anymore. I'll ask someone to pick you up tomorrow. You can get your driver's license the day after tomorrow. Haha, then I'll see Mu Yetu tomorrow, bye. After saying that, he asked Xiao Chen to drive away, fearing that Mu Qingjian would show him some cute things. At this age, he can't stand the torture of this little cutie. Mu Qingjian hugged Dandan and said, let's go back. Xiao may be awake. As soon as Dandan heard that Xiao woke up, he disappeared and hurried back. Mu Qingjian smiled. Emotional Dandan and Xiao have been very close to each other recently. She couldn't just transform herself into a real person like Dandan, after all, there were cameras everywhere now. As soon as Dandan entered the room, he saw Mu Xiao crying in the living room. Not to mention how distressing it was, she jumped directly into his arms. Ouch! Mu Xiao saw Dandan suddenly appearing, hugging Dandan and crying that her sister was missing. Dandan couldn't speak and could only howl. Mu Qingjian opened the door and saw this scene. The little guy cried so sadly, Xiao, I'm back. Mu Xiao rushed over holding Dandan, sister, where have you been? Xiao can't find her sister, and she can't find Dandan. Weavue, Xiao thought her sister didn't want Xiao anymore. Weavue. That little face was crying so hard that Mukinjian couldn't help but hug him with heartache. Xiao Yu, be good, sister, you can want no one. No one will want you. You are my sister's big treasure. Do you understand? Mu Xiao sniffed and looked at Mukinjian with red eyes. Really? Is Xiao my sister's baby? Yes, it's a very big baby. How can I not bear to let my sister take it? She kissed him quickly to show her love. Mu Xiao smiled so much that she showed her toothless front teeth, which was cute and goofy. With a satisfied look on her face, she threw herself into Mukinjian's arms and nuzzled her like a cat. Xiao, my sister wants to tell you something. My sister is a great god, and sometimes she goes to fight monsters at night. So Xiao has to be obedient and wait for her at home until she comes back from fighting monsters, you know, Mukinjian said nonsense seriously. Mu Xiao believed it, with a small face full of excitement. Sister, do you want to be like Sun Wukong? Protect Xiao Yu from fighting monsters. Mukinjian laughed, haha, yes. Only by beating away the monsters can we protect Xiao Yu. So when Xiao Yu saw her sister missing, she secretly went to fight the monsters. Ouch, Dandan said while watching Mukinjian bragging. Not only can you fight monsters, but you can also fight ghosts. You can fight everything. Sometimes you can even fight me. Mukinjian ignored Dandan's complaints and continued to explain to Mu Xiao. She also asked him to keep it a secret for her and not to tell anyone else, otherwise her identity would be exposed. Sister, can I fight monsters with you? Mu Xiao muttered, covering her mouth. Okay. But Xiao can't complain about hard work, and can't give up halfway. Mukinjian looked at him sternly. Mu Xiao's face was full of determination. Xiao is not afraid of hardship. Xiao also wants to be Sun Wukong and protect his sister. Okay, sister, please wait for Xiao to transform into Sun Wukong to protect me. Mu Xiao was tickled by Mukinjian and burst out laughing, haha, it's so ticklish. Xiao will protect my sister, haha, sister, it's so ticklish. Tundun licked Mu Xiao's face, making Mu Xiao laugh. He would soon forget the unpleasantness of the evening. Mu Xiao was very sleepy, holding her on the sofa while she waited for Mukinjian to finish taking a shower, and Mukinjian hugged him to bed. He was still holding his in his arms, and the two of them fell asleep peacefully. Mukinjian hugged Mu Xiao with a determined look on her face. Father, mother, and grandpa, Xiao is very good. Don't worry, Yanner will definitely protect Xiao when he grows up in this life, so don't worry. Dandan looked at Mukinjian and knew that she was nostalgic for the past again. Since the blood contract with Mukinjian, I have been able to sense Mukinjian's emotions to some extent. Its owner is destined to be no ordinary person. It can be sure, so it is willing to make a blood contract with her. If you like this book, you can save it. Each of your collections is full of motivation. Pen refill. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 20. Chapter 20 Haunted House. Aunt Huang bought things early and rushed over to do some cleaning and make breakfast. Mukinjian happened to meet Aunt Huang while she was running and asked her to tell Xiao that she was running if she saw him waking up. It happened to be a coincidence that when Aunt Huang made breakfast, Mu Xiao woke up and called her sister. After learning that Mukinjian was running, she obediently brushed her teeth and washed her face, and also helped Dandan brush her teeth. Mukinjian came back and had breakfast with Mu Xiao and made preparations together. Aunt Huang was going back again. At this time Mukinjian stopped Aunt Huang and said, Aunt Huang, this is the amulet. You should wear it today to protect you. Aunt Huang took the amulet with a grateful look on her face. Okay, thank you, Xiao Yan. This thing is very expensive. How much will Aunt Huang give you? Mukinjian smiled and said, It's not expensive. It was given by an elder. It's quite effective. Aunt Huang just keeps it well. Okay, you're welcome, Aunt Huang. Aunt Huang thanked her and left with the amulet. Mu Qingjian looked at her silently. It shouldn't be a big problem. After all, it's just a new ghost and shouldn't be able to hurt Aunt Huang. After answering a phone call, Mu Qingjian took Mu Xiao and Dandan out together. Getting in the car and arriving at the place introduced by Mr. Zhang, the master who took the driver's license test knew Mu Qingjian as soon as he mentioned his name. Scheduled Mu Qingjian's exam directly, and it only took a few minutes to complete each subject. I immediately took the second subject and passed 4 subjects in a row easily. The master who took the driving license test did not expect Mu Qingjian to be so fast because of the help of old man Zhang. I got my driver's license in 1 day, and it turns out that ability determines speed. Looking at Mu Xiao and Dandan who were waiting hard for her, she decided to take them to the zoo to play. Mu Xiao looked excited, but Mu Qingjian didn't feel much at all. Not to mention Dandan, which is an animal in itself, just like humans, there seems to be no difference between them except that they look good. Sister, the big tiger is so cool. Mu Xiao leaned on the glass and pointed at the big tiger excitedly. Dandan looked at the big tiger Mu Xiao mentioned with disgust, less than 1/3 of his own size. Sister, giraffe, it's so tall. Mu Xiao hugged Mu Qingjian with excitement on her face. Dandan stared at the giraffe. No matter how tall it was not as tall and powerful as himself. This guy is only 1 neck tall, and his neck is too long and ugly. Mu Qingjian laughed directly. No one could understand what Dandan was whining, but as its owner, everyone heard it. I didn't expect Dandan to have a standard of beauty, so it seems like I've looked at it a lot. After seeing the zoo, Mu Xiao also wanted to go to the amusement park, so Mu Qingjian took her directly to the amusement park next door. While eating, drinking and playing games in the playground, Mu Xiao suddenly became interested in the haunted house. My sister's little house seems very interesting. Mu Qingjian said with a bad smile, there are monsters that eat people inside. Isn't Xiao afraid of monsters? Mu Xiao shook his head. Xiao is not afraid. My sister is a great immortal and can fight monsters. Xiao will be a great immortal and catch monsters in the future. Haha, really? Then don't cry anymore. After buying an adult ticket, the salesperson saw that Mu Xiao was too young. Afraid of scaring the child, Mu Qingjian signed a guarantee before allowing him to be taken in. There was a couple walking with them all the way down. In that couple, the girl screamed the loudest and got into the boy's arms at every turn. Mu Xiao's little face was full of curiosity, and he didn't seem to be scared at all. The boy in the couple beside him couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Although Mu Qingjian was very brave, the baby girl didn't have any fear at all. Suddenly, a terrifying female ghost floated in front of Mu Qingjian and the others. The couple was attracted by the female ghost who suddenly appeared and disappeared again. She screamed in fright and hid behind Mu Qingjian in fear. Mu Qingjian's meaningful eyes silently looked at the real female ghost floating in front of her eyes. The man looked at the missing female ghost and stood up from Mu Qingjian. Holy crap, does this NPC have flash? It scares me to death, it's so realistic. The woman hugged the man with a scared look on her face. I'm afraid of Xingrui, let's get out quickly. The man was aggressive. Don't be afraid, I will beat him if he shows up again. Let's go. Mu Qingjian looked at the man pretending to be calm in a funny way, wondering if he would be so calm again later. As expected, the female ghost from before appeared again. The man stepped forward aggressively and punched the female ghost. He was still mumbling, I asked you to scare us, but you went too far in pretending to be a ghost. Are you worthy of being a real ghost? No ghost can even look like you. I'll go, even put the blood on it. The man looked at the blood on his hand, full of surprise. Mu Qingjian looked at the man who kept trying to die, and used a talisman to contain the female ghost. Prevent the female ghost from getting angry and hurting other people. Call the police, Mukinjian's voice sounded from behind the man. The man turned his head and said, "What? Call the police? Why did you call the police?" Mukinjian held Mu Xiao in her arms, "Because this is a real person, but a dead person. And, the blood on your hands is her blood, human blood." The man felt a chill instantly and bravely touched it. He fell directly to the ground. "Oh my God, someone is dead." When the man's girlfriend heard that the female ghost in front of her was a dead person, she was so frightened that she fainted to the ground. End of this chapter.